Hey guys, it's Avenger. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at the new aircraft from Virtualcol. Now we did review the Beech 99 they did, and this is the second aircraft for MSFS 2020, or MSFS as I should call it. The Embraer 170 and 175. Now, as you can see, you've got both versions here, and I don't know why my menu is always so laggy, but we have about 30 repaints total between the two variants, the 170 and 175. Now this aircraft, of course, started manufacturing in 2002 by Brazilian company Embraer, and the 170 holds about 72-ish passengers, 66 in a dual class configuration, 72 in one class. The 75 can do 78 in a single class, and 76 in dual class, and up to 88 in a really high density config. So this one I think has, well, they both have the General Electric, I think it's the CF34 8Es between both models, so there you go. And it's a segment of the market that's been typically held by the older BAE 146 and the Fokker 70. So it's good for serving those short-range routes. Now, this does actually include collisions for... I love how that one truck is freaking out over there. It does include collisions for the VR system, which is a first for them. And it includes 4K textures, external effects, we've got working wipers, uses a default A320 FMS. Now, this is not a study level aircraft. They make that clear. And... oh, God, hello. Huh. This is the first time I've been in this plane, so you'll excuse me. But, this is better than their... wow, this is actually better than their... we're at Santa Barbara Municipal, by the way, the Orbex Airport, but this is my first time in this aircraft, and compared to their previous one, the Beech 99, which looked much older in terms of textures, it's not great, but it's not bad. Now this is 20 bucks. I got it from simmarket, and it's not terrible considering it's the only Embraer that exists. This isn't awful. Now it's not great, of course, but for 20 bucks and a non-study level aircraft, I'd say it's not bad. Let's get it started up, and this is definitely a Control Easy kind of aircraft, so I'm going to hit Control E. Doesn't look terrible. I quite like the... well, that's a standard feature, of course, but... clickable there. Yeah, not terrible, I will say. Simple systems, simple settings, but overall... what does that do? I don't know what that does. There's our speed brakes. We've got the standard A320 FMS, which does say A320, which is kind of a problem. I know they just copied the gauge across to the new system, but that's a little lazy that they couldn't just copy it and change a name in the actual file. I feel like that should be something at least you should do. Minimum. But hey, you know, like you shouldn't say A320 in a Embraer. But what do I know? Right? So windows don't click. I'm literally clicking through the aircraft and seeing what does what here. Engines are coming online. Let's take a look outside, by the way. Oh, that's noisy. So, external quality-wise, it's... that was done through the paint kit. Ugh. Not bad, actually. Not great, but not bad. I'd say it's a lot better than their previous versions have been. And I'd say it looks better than their previous... really? Yeah. Not as bad as their previous ones have been. But again, not great. It will do, and if you really want to fly one of these aircraft, for the price, not terrible. So, let's get ourselves pushed back here with the raging engines out there. As the tug comes in to get us here. Let's make sure parking brake is off. And we'll take her back for a bit of a run here. Now again, clarification, I am not a commercial jet person in the sim. It is not my thing. But I will fly it to see what happens here. So, we're going to get the pushback tug to give us a shove, and we'll get ourselves going here. Now, I do believe... oh, hello. Traffic and weather overlays. TCAS. Huh. That is actually functioning. So, basic systems all seem to work. You've got the autopilot systems up here. What do you do? Oh, it's our gear warnings. Ground proximity system. Let's turn that on, see if it's annoying, shall we? It's quite loud, I've noticed, in this aircraft, so we'll take that into account. They did say all the flood stuff's controllable from the panel, so we've got all those systems here for that. What's it telling us is done? GPWS is off. I could have sworn I just turned that on. What was that one? Oh, there we go. Yep. And that is... What are you telling me to do over there, aeroplane? No smoking is on. Oh, we should probably turn that off, shouldn't we? Or on. Those are lights. These are all lights here. Let's go away, Tug. We should be fine there. You know what? If people want to smoke on this flight, they can. I don't mind. So, let's get ourselves moving here. And we'll maneuver to the runway, and we'll go for a short little circuit. Now, it's a smaller aircraft, of course, so not ridiculously huge. Sort of thing that could operate from here at Santa Barbara. Being a municipal airport, obviously with air stairs. Ground handling seems pretty responsive enough. The engines seem okay. Virtualcol aircraft have suffered with the flight model in the past, so that's always one of those things you want to be curious about and see how it's going to behave. But seems okay so far. Sounds definitely sound very canned. Now, this is a problem I've seen throughout a lot of aircraft in 2020, is that, or MSFS. I keep saying MSFS 2020, but I like to separate the version of it because Microsoft Flight Simulator is such a generic title. But then again, games companies do that all the time these days. They'll go, oh, it's Battlefield 5, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 7, Battlefield 2042, 2142, or 1942, Battlefield Skegness, who knows, but they like to change numbers around, so I like to clarify that it's the current version. So enough waffling aside, 3D modelling here is not awful. I did not have the FSX version of this because I'm not a jet person. I'm not a big fan of how they've got segmented textures there and then that, but overall in terms of this aircraft it's not awful. And performance in the sim is not bad, I will give it that. But it isn't a complex aircraft, so I would expect it to not be too bad. So flaps set for takeoff. We're not bothering with ATC stuff for this test flight, we're just going to get ourselves onto the runway. There should be enough tarmac for us on this, Santa Barbara. Oh, hello. I just caught and turned there. Come on, get turned onto the runway for me, thank you. It's about lunchtime here in California. It seems like a very narrow runway for a jet, but it is quite a small jet, so... The actual suspension motion does feel pretty good in this aircraft, I must say. The bobbing and the movement does seem fair. Okay, we're powered up, we're rolling. Oh, sounds cranky, but that feels like that should be quieter compared to...
knots.
Oh, that's nice. That was kind of cool.
V2.
I don't feel like I should be clunking as much as this. But that was really cool. I didn't expect it to have the sounds. Positive rate gear and flaps up.
Terrain.
Yes, I'm aware that's terrain. Do you need me to...
Terrain.
Sod off.
Terrain.
Yes, thank you. I see the terrain. I see the terrain. Thank you for that. I appreciate the input, but I wasn't asking you. Okay, so let's go outside. Prepare your ears for the noise. People want more outside shots, so I will give you more outside shots here. So we used the smaller runway at Santa Barbara, not the big one, but... The aircraft looks pretty good in the lighting. The materials are native, so... It definitely doesn't look terrible. Pretty steep angle of approach there, so we're going to bring ourselves around here. We don't want to get too powered up for this one. As we're actually 288 knots, so we are overspeed for our altitude. And I'm aware of that much of jet rules. Most planes I fly will not get over 250 knots below 10,000 feet, so not really a concern for me normally. I will say the window scratching is minimal and actually tolerable. And overall, the complexity of the modelling in the cockpit is not awful. I don't mind it. It could be better, but it's not terrible. So that's a positive, really. More expensive than their previous aircraft have been in this line. Typically, their stuff's retailed at about $10 to $15. And it seems like it is definitely more expensive. Has it got a lot of rough edges? Yes. Do they actually patch their stuff? Yes, they do. If you want something simple and something to fill this niche of really wanting to fly an Embraer, then not terrible. Now, what's its maneuverability like? Pretty responsive, but it isn't a big aircraft. And by responsive, I mean for its size. Oh, hello. You want to get frisky with me, do you, little one? Okay. Let's roll ourselves back around here. Give it about a small amount of power. That was pretty neutral there. Airport should be there for us. I believe there is a runway off our heading, so we're going to try and aim for that one. So, bring that back down. Gear down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have an intersecting runway here at Santa Barbara, so we're going to try and aim for that. As the light's getting pretty glary here, we should be okay once we turn around fully, though. Angle of attack's a little steep, so I'll put some more power on here. 185 knots. There we go. More clarity now, I can see. So not intending this to be an accurate portrayal of how jets fly at an airport, but I just want to basically see how it behaves. Give you guys a quick insight on what its behavior is like. Go for setting stage of flaps there. Okay, so we're just going to roll it onto runway course here. In fact, putting this thing outside of its performance envelope actually does give me the ability to be a little bit more understanding of how its performance actually really behaves. Gorgeous scenery here at Santa Barbara. Beautiful place to fly. If you don't have this Orbex Airport, I highly recommend it. Gorgeous little coastal spot. Okay, we should have threshold ahead of us. We do. So bringing power down. Flaps set for landing. There we go. That should be doing it for us. Okay, do we have actual camera angles? We do have the windshield camera. We have PFD. And that is it. So, not a lot, but not terrible. So airspeed's just under 150 knots right now. Let's do something we shouldn't do. Let's sideslip an airliner. Just to line us up on the center line. There she goes. I love how aircraft react incredibly aggressively to sideslipp in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is not something they necessarily do as realistically, but it's not awful, as we get a bit of a lag spike there from the sim, just being, you know, the usual way it actually is. We'll maintain this airspeed on approach here. FPS is dropping a little bit more. Thank you for that, Flight Simulator. I appreciate you. I love when you just decide, you know what, you don't really deserve this performance. You've got a great computer, a fantastic computer that should destroy this game on Ultra. In fact, you meet and surpass our... I'm low.
300. 200.
Power. I need power.
Minimums.
Yeah, minimums, I get it. Okay, we're looking good here. Let's power off before we float too long. And we are going to float a little bit, but not too badly.
100. 50. 40. 30.
And
20,
we're donking
10.
it down a little bit. Oh! That was a bonk. It did not like that. Oh, man. This is why I don't fly jets. I don't even know why I review these things, but you guys seem to like watching my reviews of various aircraft, so don't tip over, God. Unless I broke one of the landing gear, which is entirely possible. Let's see, did we break the landing gear? No, it's still there. Probably would have done if that was real life. Yeah, don't let me fly jets. I review them because you asked me to, and because I'm sure it's funny to somebody that I'm this bad at jets. But I just, yeah, I understand the principle of them. I'm just not used to them. And yeah, I also wanted to get back on the ground pretty quickly, not mess around with everything else. So, I believe there are some eye candy abilities, but I think there are a lot of them are tied to the native sim functionalities for cargo and things. It does work with that. But overall, for the price, more expensive than they normally are. I don't like that. Seems so reasonable, but it's a step up in visual quality from the Beech 99. But is it much better for the price increase to $20? I think they're asking a little much. Really. but typically the prices have been competitive. I think it's not awful, but I'm not a jet fanatic, so I wouldn't know. If you really want an Embraer, it's not a bad option. But if you don't really care, there are far better jets out there for commercial flying stuff like the Aerosoft CRJ, which will service the same routes. And that has the expansion including the 1000 and 900 coming out soon, so if you literally want jets, that is where you should probably aim. Especially study level jets. This is not study level. So hopefully you enjoyed this as we go once again back out to the noisy, noisy, noisy world of outside this aeroplane. It's back up there. If you want an Embraer, why not? Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, mouse, it sucks, but if I use the controller, it goes weird, so... yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.